Has God made all of us creative, or there are some who are creative more than others, or there are others who are not creative at all? Is it the will of God for you and I to be creative? We want to continue looking at creativity as relates with the Proverbs 31 woman. Remember, we are tracking this woman so that we can align our lives to the will and purpose of God as much as possible, because like I have said again and again, that Proverbs 31 woman is a prototype, a bar for us to reach out as we trust the Lord to make us into the women that He wants us to be. We continue looking at creativity, asking those questions and seeking to answer them in today's video. Welcome to Formations of a Noble Woman. This is a channel where we share matters womanhood and the woman, seeking the mind of God concerning the same so that we can align our lives to His will and purpose. If you're new here, consider subscribing and just ring that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload new content. As is always our custom, we want to pray because we are trusting God to just grant us a fruitful time today. Indeed, Father, just give us a fruitful time and glorify your name in our lives today as we continue to reflect on this passage and just listen to you concerning creativity. In Jesus' name, amen. If you missed the immediate last video that I did on creativity, I have linked it below because I think it's a wonderful foundation for this particular video that I am working on. Because in that video, I looked at the purpose of creativity. Why would God make us creative? And you see, my assumption already is that you and I are creative. I actually believe that God has given us creativity, and if you watch that video, you will find out. But the question is, why do we sometimes think we are not creative? Why do we feel that we are not capable of being creative as the Lord would have us be? You could have been hindered from being creative because of certain contextual realities that were around you, and you can check on the channel a video I have done on the Proverbs 31 woman concerning contextual realities. And these are just realities that we have grown up with that have affected us so that we have not been able to express ourselves to the full the way the Lord would want us to. Could be that the way I was brought up, I was never allowed to express myself to the full. For example, I grew up as a child knowing school is most important, work is most important, which is true by the way, but I was never allowed to play as I ought. And so, you know, there's a lot of creativity that happens. A child's mind is opened up when they are able to work with mud, for example. They are able to work on clothes and dress up their dolls for girls. They are able to make cars, you know, and make those things I would see boys during our time make from banana stems and slide, you know, going down a hill, and the many things that a child is capable of, but they are hindered because they were never allowed to express themselves. Some of us have grown up with TVs in our homes, and the moment we get from school, we get into the house, and the first thing we switch on is the TV to watch cartoons. And I am not saying it's wrong to watch. There are some that are godly and teach us godly values, but if that is what a child will do the whole day, or the moment they leave school they come to watch cartoon, I believe TV will hinder their creativity a great deal, because they are not able to think. Someone else has already thought for them and brought the show together, and they are watching it. What if they were able to go out and think for themselves and play? There's also this child, probably as they were growing up, they try to make something good, and all they receive is criticism from the parent, criticism from the teachers, and from those in authority, and they imagine, I am not supposed to be doing this, I should be doing something else, and that hinders their creativity. For some of us, it could just be exposure. We haven't been exposed enough to understand that our environments can be beautiful. I think of the homes in the countryside, especially, where activity happens around the kitchen and the sitting room is kept for the visitors, and so we don't really think about the sitting room. We will not think about what we call the living room, making it beautiful. We will not not think about the bedroom because that's for sleeping. Then we come back to the kitchen and go to the farm. And so we are not exposed to see that we can be creative, and we always imagine I will find creativity in that beautiful retreat center, that those beautiful gardens that have been made for weddings. That's where beauty is. And so I don't think of myself as creative. Now, having looked at some of the reasons that would hinder creativity, some of the circumstances that have hindered creativity, and I'm not sure I have even exhausted the list, but I'm just thinking as you go through this video, reflectively listening to the Lord, I am telling you, you'll be able to point out to something that could have hindered you from being creative. Could it be a contextual reality, like I have said? Could it be lack of exposure? And you will find that for most of us, some of these points and others will contribute to us thinking that we are not creative. Well, it is not true that we are not creative, and I want to give us a number of reasons how we can enhance our creativity. We can trust the Lord to help us so that we can be creative. Reason number one is you want to be creative, you want to enhance that, pray. In yesterday's video, like I have said, it's linked below, I shared an incident where I went to this friend's home. I found it beautiful. I had never thought I would be capable of such beauty, and I concluded I was not creative. And as the Lord started working on me through a lady who was mentoring me at the time, I remember praying and trusting the Lord, please help me. I want to be creative. I want to come up with beautiful things as a woman. I am telling you, the Lord answered that prayer. And how do I know that? Because of the comments I would hear about my own home a number of years later. I knew the Lord was working that in my life. So just pray, and the Lord will inspire you. Remember, He is the all-creative God, and He is your Father if you're born again, and He will make it come to pass for you. The second way to enhance your creativity is just deal with contextual reality issues before the Lord. Can even be, if there need be, with an older person, an older woman who can be a blessing to you in ministering to you to deal with that. I'm saying that because some of the suppression of our creativity may have come from people in authority. Could be parents, could be teachers, could be grown-ups around us, and they put us down in what we were doing, and without knowing, we thought we are not capable of doing something beautiful. We shouldn't even be doing that. We shouldn't even be thinking that. But as you walk through that journey with the Lord, before the Lord, as He searches your heart, as He helps you, as you combine with that first point, very critical, of prayer, the Lord is able to help you to experience His fullness, His release, His joy, and trust Him to be creative, to create a beautiful environment around you for His glory. And the third thing I want to say is, please be a student of the environment around you. I think of sometimes when I will go to a beautiful retreat center, for example, a particular center that I know that is so beautiful, with a creative older woman who works on that compound, of course, with the help of her workers, and they do a beautiful job. And I normally want to look at how she has arranged these flowers, how she has done this. And there's a time we got some flowers from her as well. Our part, that season was a bit dry, and a lot of the flowers didn't make it, but a good number of them have made it. And I can look at our compound and say, at least it's not where it was when we first came here. So be a student of the environment around you. That retreat center, look at the centerpieces and how they have been done, and you will find that as the Lord works in your heart and in your mind, you will come up with something probably even more beautiful than that. Looking at the things that are simple, that may seem useless, like in that video where I talked about this log that I turned into something beautiful, the Lord can use your environment just to help you be creative. Trust the Lord. The next point, to just acquire skills, some training in some skills that would help you, and also work on the skills you already have to enhance your creativity. I think of a season where I sat down and was trained a skill on beadwork, and I was able to do a lot of beads that have been also a blessing to me, including this necklace that I am wearing. I remember a season where one of the younger girls actually taught me how to work on mat work, and I was able to do a number of mats and just beautify our home. I know as we were growing up as young girls, we learned the skill of hair, and I did this hair yesterday because I was so busy. I had no time to go to the salon, and a lot of times I will do that because I'm busy. I need to sort this hair. I just sit down and do lines or do braids, a skill that I have learned that is very useful for me, and many other skills that you can learn that you will find you're good at, and you will come up with something creative. And the internet now abounds with those kind of free trainings, I would say, for example on YouTube, of doing food creatively and beautifully, doing cakes creatively and beautifully, doing the things you already know creatively and beautifully. Just take time to take some training or just to acquire some skills that would be helpful in making you creative and creating a beautiful environment around you, including skills in getting pots and planting nice flowers. That is something I'm looking forward to, a skill in just handling flowers and handling interior decor, because a lot of times now that is becoming a very lucrative business, because many of us feel we can't do a good job, or maybe we don't have time, and someone else has gathered those skills and they are making money out of that. And what about you just learning some of these simple skills and just making a beautiful environment of your home or of your porch or whatever space the Lord has given you? The next one, just exposure, what I talked about, just the fact that you went to school and the Lord exposed you to various places, like I have said, various homes, various retreat centers. You find that this exposure really opens your mind up to be creative. You may not do exactly what you have seen, but your mind is opened up to think, can't I do it this way? I can do it that way. And you just find your creativity has been brought out, and you are more creative than you were before because of exposure. And the last one I would say is trust the Lord to walk with an older woman, especially those who have excelled in this area of creativity. You look at their food, creative. You look at their homes, creative. And a lot of times they will walk with you, and not even with necessarily with you being conscious of it. I remember being in the home of the lady who mentored me, and her house was beautiful, and yet when she was moving out of that house and she'd removed everything, I was shocked that that house had a lot of issues, a lot of things she had creatively hidden you wouldn't see. And I remember one of the times while she was still in that house, being on the carpet with her and her explaining right from her carpet how she had done the entire house. And I remember that brought a lot of exposure to my mind, and I determined I would want to create a beautiful home. I don't want to see beauty in hotels, in retreat centers. You know, when we go for that seminar, I would also want a beautiful home. So an older woman excelled in that can also be a blessing to you in that. And as I finish, I would say, just trust the Lord to be a lifelong learner. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. We are all learning. We will always be learning. The Lord will keep inspiring many people to come up with new things. I personally have an interest in cake making, and I just can't get enough of the designs that I keep seeing of how cakes are decorated on the internet. And I'm thinking, how did someone come up with that? Really, nothing new under the sun. We will keep seeing new things. The Lord will keep using what is around us to inspire us to even more creativity. And I want you to remember one thing. All this is for the glory of God. Our creativity is not about us or about people seeing us. It is all for the glory of God. Check out this playlist here where I have done videos based on the Proverbs 31 woman right from the introduction to where we are presently. I pray that they will be a blessing. So thank you so much for joining me. So go on, woman of God, and be creative. Until the next video, bye.